actually successfully coming towards certain individuals. And it was a stepping up moment for me energetically to be able to rebuff that energy, to meet it where it was and say, no, not here. And all of that's part of our capacity to move in to higher level training, higher level remembrance of our mastery, higher level of our gifts and our strength and our power. So some of these experiences we bring on, we allow in partly because of our energetic pattern, our woundings, our traumas, our emotional baggage that's still stuck in there, because that puts off color pattern. It puts off a resonance. Whether you see it as a pattern, a resonance, a sound frequency, that energetic dynamic is part of your soul makeup in that moment, or your energetic makeup as this incarnation. And on an energetic level, other beings and entities can see that. They can perceive it, but they are drawn to matching frequencies. So the universal law of attraction, magnetic pull in towards you, always matches your frequency. This is why when you start learning higher principles of law of attraction, it's actually magnetism. It's that universal principle that like attracts like. And when you move into high vibrational field, you will attract that to you. It is no longer lower and denser, and so you don't have the experience of those, say, attacks or darker energies that might feel like an attack or a sucking or a feeding off of you. And in the vibrational fields that we all move through in our journey, I have experienced those because I was in a place where I still had traumas within me. I still had certain belief systems. I still had energies that were magnetizing those entities towards me and allowing that interaction to occur because I wasn't consciously aware enough yet to block it or hold it off. So if there are things that are working for you, or you get insight from other teachers or healers or friends or whatever out there of mechanism that they use for protection that they feel works, whether it's crystals, whether it's mantras and chants, specific grid patterning. Early on, I would always call in dragons. I had some show up and sort of show me what I could do with them on my property, the first place that I lived here in Reno. I went out one day and I realized that on some level I had called in 4 golden dragon guardians, one on each corner of the property. And I still feel like they're present on my properties. And I actually, on my new property, was told to get crystals because we're very close to a quartz peak that you can go and get quartz rocks. And I was told to get some big chunks and put them on the corner of my property. And at the time, because of where I was at, I believed that it was for protection for whatever reason. And I've come to realize later that it was actually about amplification, because crystals actually amplify. The dragons are still there because the dragon presence around me is consistent. But you could call in dragons. You could call in your guides, guards, and angels to hold that space until you can release, or to show you if you feel like stuff is going on with psychic attack, or a lot of negative energies being present, or if you are working with other people in session or massage work or Reiki or healing or any kind of energy work, and you feel like there's a lot of that presence around, you can invite a large circle of beings, and you'll know which ones are the most effective, and you can just try different ones and practice. But your personal guardians are always going to hold space for you. But what I take away from that is when I'm connecting with my dragon and my dragon guides, or any of my archangel buddies, or any of the beings that are present with me, I usually will take it as, all right, there's something present in my field that I can feel trying to, what I would consider, negatively affect me or my energy or what's happening in my world, my life, my family. It's an opportunity to say, can you show me the mirror? Because when you actually see the mirror and realize what the law of attraction is bringing in there, that's when it will actually get cleared. When you can see the mirror, actually see the lesson in it, see what is it that's still within me that's pulling this energy towards me, that's actually when you're going to get the insight to clear it. Even just the insight without any other further healing or release work, when you actually have the conscious awareness of a piece of the puzzle, that's going to clear a lot of it. That's going to start breaking that thread of attraction down where the tie is not so strong, they can't pull in so easily, and that already starts to shift things. So paying attention to that. If you feel like a lot of that negativity, and I don't like to use the word negativity because we look at dark, negative, it keeps us in a polarized mindset, heart set, when in reality, all of the dark and all the light are equally divine. And some have forgotten their divinity. Some have lost their way from their divinity and are trying to make their way back to it. But as we become more unified and come into that center point where they merge, where you can feel the divinity in both the dark and light, and they actually come into that fold of union, when you start moving closer and closer and closer to that horizon point, to that 0 point, is what I've called it over the last many months, you will start to experience less and less of what is the much darker or more negative or more challenging, let's use that word, more challenging energies to deal with. Another really great perspective way to look at it is that when those entities are present, when you feel like that is happening, say it's a psychic attack, and I know I've had that in both waking and sleeping experience in my life. When you feel that coming in, darkness is repelled by light. It's just the nature of the polarity of this realm. So you can either call in protection, or you can make yourself so brilliant that it's repelled and wants to rebuff and fall away. What is that also doing? When you pull in your light and start to amplify, that is going to help to shine light on what's being the attractor. But it's also allowing that being an opportunity to see brightness coming from within you. Brightness coming from within that might trigger something as an awareness for that entity of, wow, they just shifted. I wonder if that's possible for me. And a lot of times in some of the shadow work or other realm work that I've done in the past, I've actually gone out and sought conversation with certain beings or entities and sought out to be that, and I would purposely dim my light down to be like a gray instead of brilliant white light, because brilliant white light is terrifying to a dark entity, to someone to a soul who is in a dark place for whatever reasons. The brilliance of light repels them because they're terrified of it. It's actually painful to them. So when you want to be loving and actually be a guide to assist some of those entities to wake up to a different potential or a different possibility of where they're at, you can focus on dimming yours down to become great, to become where you could actually be less intimidating, and just open up conversation doorway. Open up or say, you know what, I feel you around me. I feel like there's something drawing you into me. I'm not sure what it is, but let's shift this because I want to move into more light. Maybe you do too, and maybe one of my guides here could stay and have a conversation with you about that. All of these entities that are affecting this, they're just beings. They're just consciousness and soul. They may have really, really lost their way and maybe don't want anything to do with the light at this point. But when you make yourself brilliant and light and send that heart message out of, I'm going to embrace you and I'm going to be grateful for you showing me something in me that has yet to be discovered, to be released. We can use the word to be healed, but healing entails there's something wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with having these traumas in our bodies. And I've even called my work over the years energy healing, when really it's about just shedding light. And it's about showing. It's energetic showing of what is yet to be fully brought into the light. And when we take that perspective with it and we take that heart level of gratitude, appreciation, and then sharing that out, that will touch them, but it will also break the cord long enough. And a lot of times the protection mechanisms that you want to bring in, they won't be stable and they won't last more than 24, 36, 48 hours unless you redo it and redo it and redo it. And you can keep redoing that ad infinitum. Or you can actually realize, why does it not stabilize? Why does it not hold? Why does it keep coming back after that period? And why do I have to do this daily or every other day to do these ceremonies and call-ins and asking for help and asking for protection. Well, you don't. What you need to do is set it or have someone else help you set it. And that's one of the things I've done in the past in my sessions as well. Help set it and set the space for you to actually go through and find the gratitude for being shown, the gratitude for that attack or that energy that was coming to influence you in that way. And in that state of gratitude, asking to be revealed, why is my law of attraction still magnetize this energy? Why does this still present to me? Because each time you do that, you're going to start finding stepping stones forward into your higher vibrational leveling up, that at some point you realize, wow, I haven't needed protection in a long time. I haven't felt psychic attack in a long time. I haven't felt anybody vampiring me or sucking my energy in a long time. I haven't, had entities show up in people's sessions. Why is that? Well, they're still there for lots of people, but if you're doing session work with people and your own vibrational levels are shifting, your client base is going to shift. You're going to notice that. Your client base will shift to match the level just that you've just graduated out of, so that you can help them move up. And they become the healers for those that are a level or two behind them. It doesn't mean you still don't have very beginner clients that pop in here and there, but they might have a different mirror for you. But this is about recognizing it's all patterning and belief. And when I actually start to see that, and I change most of my beliefs and I start moving into that quantum field of potential, that's where my light is so bright that none of that starts affecting. So I would honestly say I no longer feel like I use protection mechanisms like that. The only time that I'm really connected with that is in a large group meditation. We've done multiple with the Dragon Hearts. We've done multiple with other larger groups, say with South Africa, where I have some connections. And we had a large gathering. I would say there's probably over 100 people. I know I did one meditation. We had over 100 people. That's the only time that I do see that we put a mechanism in place because of the number of beings present, not knowing what level they're all working at, what attachments they may still have, or lines of energy out that are drawing in stuff. So that's the only time that I really use it now. But that doesn't mean I haven't in the past. And it doesn't mean it's not perfect and right for you right now, or that I'm somehow better than you or greater. Or I might be further ahead on certain places, but we all are evolving forward together. And so this question coming up, this great topic, it's useful for all of us. And knowing that I have a lot of dragon protection and dragon energy around me, they've been there to help me all along. But now that I've really begun integrating who I be and merging with my full dragon, and you'll see Tana in a lot of my lives, she comes in, she's letting me speak and be fully present, because she knows this is a very human issue. It's a very 3D template issue that she's sort of standing back and saying, yeah, let your human self speak about this. Let this be part of the journey that is that human to soul level interface. For me, that's dragon. For most of you, that's dragon. But you have people in your lives, or there are some here that watch these, that they aren't necessarily dragon, but they have a deep connection with dragons. So it's about that soul level connection with your full light body. The closer and closer you get to that merge, and the more time I spend in that merge, I have literally noticed, most particularly in the last 1.5 to 2 years, that experience of ever feeling like I need protection is gone. Is that purely because the level of light or vibration that I carry, the level of merge? That's a huge part of it. But along with that, it goes hand in hand with my belief systems. My full potential, full realization of unlimited potential and possibility in the realm of the universe, and that I can choose to interact with or choose not to interact with certain energies. And it's all tied together. So it's part of the process we're in, and I'm bringing this up because many of us, it might seem like, well, is this a dragon topic? Well, for me it is, because my soul level self is dragon. All of you have that same connection, and or you're just working with the dragons, and those high level frequencies are moving you through pieces to start getting that higher level perspective. I've talked about this before, that for me, the quantum realm, the new earth, 5D, it's not as much about moving into a new physical or non-physical location as much as it's a perspective point shift. It is a drawing into a higher relevance perspective where, and this is interesting that this analogy is coming to me right before this metaphor is coming in, because I've used it in a class fairly recently and it really fits. That if you imagine yourself like going on a roller coaster ride. I love roller coasters. We went to a fair last night at the event here in Reno. And when you ride a roller coaster and you come into the station and you're about to get off, you realize like, oh, that was really fun. And you can see the whole track and wow, that was great. And what if you come into that station where you got on and all of a sudden you realize that there's a similar roller coaster, but it's much bigger. The car, everything about it is amplified and it's present there with you, and you can actually just move on to that track and experience the bigger one. You can still see the smaller one. You can still see the one that you just rode, but now you're on a much bigger track and a bigger course and a bigger car, and you're here and you couldn't see this one until you finished the ride on the first one. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, I'm riding this one. That one is still there. I can see it. I can see all the people riding on it. And yet I'm on this one now. And I'm looping this one over and over again because it's a really fun ride. So that might be a very odd example, but I love, the dragons, when I'm in session, they give me the most amazing metaphors and analogies that really fit with the language that we're speaking, that is our relevance to our world, that will help us really grasp a concept. So if that works for you, I hope it does, to see like the bigger roller coaster is 5D. That's the quantum field. And it's there, but you don't see it until you actually come into the station where you meet that doorway, that gateway, that 0.25D. And then all of a sudden you're like on that ride and you're like, wow, I had no idea I would still be aware of everything in 3D. That means I'm still interfacing. I'm still in this realm, and yet my perspective point has shifted to such a degree that I'm no longer ensconced. What is that great old saying? In the world, but not of it. That was one of Jesus's teachings. And whether you believe in the Bible or God or Jesus or not, he is a master, and he was here on the planet to show us levels of mastery in love, and that is actually a lot of what we are here to do. That is actually what we are embodying. And so allowing that to take you up into different plane of perception. In the world, but not of it, literally is, wow, the 3D is around me, and yet my perspective point is shifted so that I'm not actually ensconced in and grappled by, brought down by, the old adage or the old story of the bucket of crabs. And there's one crab and he's just so intense and he's so motivated and he's going to climb on top of all the other crabs, and he's just about to grab the ledge and climb out of the bucket. And all the other crabs are pulling him down. They're just pulling him down because he's stuck in the mud. He's stuck in that. And it's like, once you lift up and out of the suction cup of that mass at the bottom of the bucket, you'll actually be able to climb free. And that's where you actually shift over that 0 point. You get into a whole bigger world, and all of a sudden the world outside of the bucket is huge. And that crab is going, wow, I had no idea there was anything beyond the bucket. But for some reason, I felt like trying. I felt like I was going. So hold on to those and know that if you are in this and you feel like you need to call in protection, whatever means and methods work for you. My greatest in the past have been calling in my own guides and guardians to amplify my own light field, my own energy body, to such a degree that it could hold while I ask for the information of what's held within it to let me see it. Like, shine the light on it. Why is that being attracted to me? It has nothing to do with that person wanting to attack. Well, all right, that entity might want to attack or suck on, but it's about what is allowing in my energy field that I would draw that to me. Why do I believe that I am like vampirable? Why do I believe that I can be attacked? Because those are the pieces within us that are still matching the vibration of that being. And sometimes they don't have malevolent intent. Maybe they're just around, but you feel the negativity. You feel the darkness, and so you want to push it away. You want to shield from it. The other challenge I would put out to you is try to embrace it. Embrace it with a huge open heart of gratitude, light, and love, and just watch what happens. They might be fully repelled by it, but they might also come into curiosity or conversation with you. And you might be saying, well, I'm not psychic. I can't communicate like that, like maybe you do. You don't have to. You can feel it. You're going to feel either kinetic, sensory in your body somehow. You'll just sense that there's a heartwarming coming back to you from that presence that is trying to open a communication line. And just sit and hold whatever thoughts, even if you don't feel like you can read theirs. If you open your heart, you'll have a knowing that there's a certain topic or communication or something that rises within you that even might make you emotional. I'm feeling that with a lot of you that are going to be watching this either now or on the replay, that there's a big emotional body response happening with this information. And so I'm grateful for that, because that's where we get the most movement forward. When we touch the raw emotional body and we start actually releasing and opening to that, that's the beauty of our heart connection, and where we start embodying, moving into the telepathic communion body, expanding and activating so that we can let go of the mental body in this lower framework, and just allowing. So I love that it was Michelle. I'll just say Michelle Z because I can't probably do justice to her last name. But great question and great topic. And obviously you'll see there's a whole range of pieces in there, and each time you listen to this, you're going to be ready to hear another bit of that on a deeper level. So interesting that that topic came up for the solstice. That's a big piece of the rebirthing energy today. That's a big piece. And having the sun dragon and the flame dragon to be amplifying and holding that divinity space around you for this movement forward. Because every day, you know what, the 0 point doorway seems like a singular horizon to attain. And yet what I keep finding is that 0 point doorway, it's like you breach the edge of it, and then the gap to the other side of it, it's like it keeps opening up, and I keep feeling like, wow, there's more and more layers to this 0 point doorway, and I keep getting further and further into it, and it's like, it's a part of the doorway, but it's also part of the new, and we can't yet comprehend that with our limited mathematical or geometric or physics capacity yet. But I know that it just keeps opening into new levels and more awareness, and just stick with it. Just keep holding that space. And whatever you're doing today to honor and celebrate this incredible energy of the solstice, sending blessings out for it, sending a huge dragon breath of, ooh, I can feel the sun dragon radiance just wanting to breathe straight through. So Tana is stepping in now. She is fully merged right now, sending a huge heart blast. I don't know if you can feel that. Wow. My body just went out like a full sun, and she's a water dragon, so that's interesting. Just this amplification of light, feeling it move into this crystalline format to be received in a level of transference directly to each of you as a gift for this solstice. Breathing out and breathing that energy of the flame dragon and the energy of the sun dragon to be around you in your sphere for your own awarenesses and aha moments today. All right. Much love to everybody. Great to see you. Hello, Lisa. What a pleasure to see you on there today. All right. Have a great week. We'll see you next Tuesday, guys. Bye for now.